Good afternoon, all of you. So today we will learn the phasor diagrams of the transformer and equivalent circuit of the transformer. First of all, I will explain how to draw the phasor diagrams. So if you in a AC circuit, the circuit supplies power to a pure resistive load. Suppose this is an AC circuit, supplies power to a pure resistive load. So this is resistive load. So we give alternating supply to the resistive load. So this is alternating supply, the pure resistive load. So this is the resistance R. So voltage V. Here the current passes through this resistance equal to I. So this is the voltage applied and current passing through the resistance, and this is the resistance of this pure resistive load, R load. So that means suppose this is a small value of V. So the voltage across this resistance is equal to capital V. Assume that is a capital V. Okay. So that means in pure resistive load, so if voltage is taken as a reference, you take voltage as a reference, capital V as reference. So the current is in phase with the voltage. This is the current and voltage, both are in phase. In pure resistive circuit. If it is an inductive load, so this is the inductive load L. So if you apply an alternating voltage, this is inductive load. Alternating voltage to an inductive load. So this is inductive load pure L. Current passing through this inductor equal to I. Then voltage is V, same capital V. So in this case, in pure inductive load, so current lags the voltage. Current lags the voltage with 90 degrees. So this is the current. This current lags the voltage by 90 degrees. 90 degrees. Here the phase angle is 90 degrees. In this case, the phase angle is 0 degrees. For pure resistive load, the phase angle is 0 degrees. So this is the pure resistive load, this is the pure inductive load. In pure resistive load, voltage and current both are in phase. So this is explained in waveform also. This is also explained in waveform. So this is alternating supply voltage. So alternating supply voltage. If this is a voltage applied, voltage across the resistance. So current is in phase means in this manner. Current is in phase means in this manner. Current is in phase. So this is the I value. That means voltage and current both are in phase, having magnitude difference, maybe magnitude difference. But phase is the same phase. So this is the timing diagram. So this is the phasor diagram of the pure resistive load. Similarly, for this case, for inductive load, for pure inductive load, so this waveform for pure inductive load, if voltage is taken as a reference, you take voltage as a reference, pure inductive load, alternating supply, so this is alternating supply. So this is 180 degrees, here 180 degrees, 0 degrees, 180 degrees, that is pi, and 2 pi, and 2 pi. So here the 90 degrees is here. So that means current waveform is in this, varies in this manner. So this is the current waveform. So this is the voltage. So this is the current. Voltage and current having a phase difference of 90 degrees for pure inductive load. So this is the pure resistive load. Voltage and current are in phase. For pure inductive load, voltage and current having phase difference of 90. Here current lags. So in first case in phase. So the out of phase, that is about lagging. I lags. So this I value is lagging the voltage by 90 degrees. So pure inductor lagging with 90 degrees. So these are all generally I will explain how the voltage and currents in resistive load and inductive load and capacitive load. Then after that we will draw the phasor diagrams for transformers. Okay. Now for pure capacitor load. For pure capacitor load, suppose this is the alternating supply voltage. This alternating supply voltage is applied to the pure capacitor load. So this is the pure capacitor. Pure capacitor means there is no resistance and inductance. R value, L value 0, only capacitance existing. So voltage across this value, pure capacitor equal to V, current passing through this one equal to I. So that means in pure capacitor, voltage, if you take voltage reference, pure capacitor, if you take the voltage reference, so this is the voltage is taken as reference in pure capacitor. So in pure capacitor, current leads the voltage by 90 degrees. So this is the current value. Current leads the voltage by 90 degrees. Here also 90 degrees, but leading. So this is the IL value. IR means if in case in last case 1, case 2, case 3. If you consider case 1, case 2, case 3, for pure resistor load, for pure inductive load, and pure capacitor load. So this is the for capacitor load. This is the for pure capacitor load. For pure resistor load, current is in phase. Suppose that is IR. That is represented with IR. For pure inductive load, current is lagging. So this is the IL value. IL lagging by 90 degrees. So this is the capacitor for capacitor load. So this is for resistor load. So this is for inductive load. So voltage and current both are in phase for resistor load. For capacitor load, current leads the voltage by 90 degrees. For inductive load, current lags the voltage by 90 degrees. Now these are the three cases for a pure resistive, pure inductive, and pure capacitive. Pure resistive, pure inductive, and pure capacitive. Now for practical circuits, generally the coil having some resistance and inductor reactance. That I will explain. That is a practical coil having some resistance and reactance. The practical coil is nothing but a winding. The winding is made with the copper. So practical. Suppose this is the transformer coil. This coil is made with the copper. So this is the transformer primary coil. So that means this primary coil having some resistance. This is a coil having, there is no ideal winding. Every coil is copper having some resistance, silver having some resistance, aluminum having some resistance. Some means resistance of the coil must be present in the practical winding. And at the same time, inductance L value. Inductance is also present. So inductive reactance equal to W equal to 2 pi F into L. Inductive 2 pi F into L. So inductive reactance XL value. XL equal to 2 pi F into L. 2 pi F into L. So the XL value. XL means inductive reactance. This is XL value. Inductive reactance XL equal to 2 pi F is the supply frequency, L is the inductance. So this is the inductive reactance of a coil. So this is the formula for inductive reactance. If frequency is existing in a coil, means if we give alternating supply to this coil, so this is the primary coil, we give some alternating supply. Alternating supply means it must have some frequency. That is the F value. If frequency is existing in a coil, that is existing as some reactance. So that is called inductive reactance. So the inductive reactance of a coil is given by 2 pi F into L. L is the inductance, F is the supply frequency, phi is value. So XL is called inductive reactance of the coil. If it is a primary coil, that is represented with 1. If it is secondary coil, that is represented with 2. So primary resistance, primary reactance. Secondary resistance, secondary reactance values. Okay, so that means because of this inductance, this coil having some reactance that is represented with XL. The coil reactance is represented with XL. So that is represented with XL. So this is the inductive reactance. So that coil, that reactance is related to the primary winding, that is represented with 1. That is represented with 1. So that is X1. X1. So primary reactance of the coil. Primary reactance of the coil, that is represented with 1. X1. So resistance of the primary winding, that is represented with 1. R1. Similarly, we have secondary winding coils in the transformer. Secondary winding. So this is secondary coil of the transformer. So that means secondary coil is also having some resistance and the reactance. Secondary coil also having some resistance, that is represented with R. All primary parameters are represented with 1. All secondary parameters are represented with 2. X2, R1, X1, R2, X2. So core is represented by 2 lines, 2 parallel lines in transformer. So this is the core. Primary coil, secondary coil. These 2 coils are linked with the help of the core. This core is represented with 2 lines, 2 parallel lines. So we applied voltage is represented with V1. So applied voltage is represented with V1. Induced EMF from the primary coil is represented with E1. Induced EMF from the primary coil is represented with E1. Induced EMF from the secondary coil is represented with E2. E2. So E2. So terminal voltage of the transformer is represented with V2. V2. So this is V2 value. E2, V2. Secondary current, if load applied in secondary side, if you have applied some load, in this transformer, so the electrical load, so this is a load. So if you apply load, secondary current will exist. That means if load is connected, secondary current will flow. That current is represented with I2. So primary current is represented with I1. So these are all of the parameters of the transformer. So number of turns on primary is represented with N1. Number of turns on secondary is represented with N2. Number of turns on secondary is represented with N1, N2, I1, I2, V1, V2, E1, E2, R1, X1, R2, X2. All primary parameters are represented with 1s. All secondary parameters are represented with 2. E2, V2, I2, R2, X2, V1, R1, X1, E1, I1, N1. Secondary is represented with 2. So this is the transformers circuit. So this load, I will explain here. This load. So no load, on load. No load means no load is connected. Suppose if you place a switch here, so this is a switch. If you are having some switch here, yes, switches. So this is a switch. Yes. If the switch is under open condition, no load on transformer. That means the circuit is open circuit. The circuit is open circuit. That means I2 equal to 0. I2 equal to 0. So this I2 value equal to 0 because no load. No load means no circuit is open circuit. So current in the secondary coil equal to 0. Current in the secondary coil equal to 0. But under no load condition, I2 equal to 0. But some primary current is existing in the transformer. So I1 value is existing. That is called no load current of the transformer. That is represented with I0. That is represented with I0. So I0 represents no load current on the primary winding of the transformer. On primary winding on primary coil of the transformer. That is called no load current. Okay, when secondary circuit is open circuit. The purpose of the I0 is it produces some magnetic flux. The flux links, that magnetic flux links 2 coils that establish coupling between the 2 coils. That magnetic flux establishes the coupling between the 2 coils in the transformer. The second purpose of the no load current is to meet the no load losses in the transformer. Second current purpose is to meet the no load losses in the transformer plus a small amount of copper losses that existing in the primary. Because when the current passes through the coil, the primary coil, some copper losses will exist. The purpose of the I0 is to produce the working flux. That means that flux links with the 2 coils. That means to operate the transformer under condition, function of the transformer. The second purpose is to meet the no load losses, to meet the no load core losses, third purpose is to meet the no load copper losses, small amount of copper losses. So three purposes. It establish the working flux. Second purpose is to meet the core losses in the transformer. Third purpose is to meet the small amount of copper losses in the primary winding at no load. That is the no load current purpose. Okay. That is the no load current purpose of the transformer. Next, so that no load current is represented with no load current is represented with I naught. That no load current is represented with I naught. So no load means secondary circuit is open. Secondary circuit is open. So the purpose of the no load current is to establish the working flux. That is represented with the to establish the working flux. It needs some part of the no load current that is represented with IM. Next, to meet the no load loss in the transformer, that is represented with IC. So total no load current is the sum of the two currents. So this is an AC circuit. I naught equal to IM. IM is called magnetizing component of current. IM is called magnetizing component of current. Second current is a core loss component of current IC. So this is the vector sum. This is the vector sum of the two currents. Vector sum of the two currents. I naught equal to IM plus IC. IM is called magnetizing component of current. IC is called core loss component of current. So this magnetizing component of current produces flux, necessary working flux, create the coupling between the two coils, primary coil and secondary coil. The core loss component purpose is to meet the core loss in the transformer. So that is hysteresis losses and eddy current losses. Hysteresis losses and eddy current losses. So this is also called core loss component, and a small amount of copper loss is also there to meet the small amount of copper loss in the transformer. Core losses. So the IC is to meet the no load losses of the transformer. IM is to produce the working flux, necessary working flux in the transformer. So this I naught value is very small as compared to full load current of the transformer. Full load current is the rating of the transformer. Transformer delivers full load output. In that case, the current is called full load current. So this is a no load current. The secondary circuit is open circuit. No electrical load on secondary side. But transformer takes small amount of power, small amount of current. The purpose of the current is to produce the working flux and to meet the no load losses of the transformer. That is the core losses. The core losses is constant from no load to full load, but copper losses is varies. But IC purpose is to meet the small amount of copper losses at no load. Small amount of copper losses at no load also. Okay. This I naught value is around 2 to 3%, 2% of full load current. If the transformer delivers full load current of 100 amperes, under no load condition, transformer takes very small current, that is 2 amperes of current. So this is the no load current of the transformer, 2% or 2 to 3% transformer. Okay. In some cases, it may be 1% also, depending upon the size of the transformer. That no load component of the current varies. So main purpose of the no load current is to produce the working flux and to meet the core losses. Copper losses is existing, but that value is small, that is neglected. Copper loss is neglected under no load condition. Primary copper losses is neglected under the no load power of the transformer. This is the no load current. The no load power of the transformer, that is represented with P naught equal to, in AC circuit, the voltage, current, and the power factor. This is the no load power of the single phase power equation of the AC circuit. So input is we apply power. No load power means P naught. That is represented with naught. P naught. And input supply voltage, we apply voltage to the primary. Rated voltage is operating V1. No load current is I naught cos theta naught. No load power factor is represented with cos theta naught. So this is the no load power of the transformer. Transformer takes this amount of power at the no load condition. The transformer takes this amount of power at the no load condition. So this is the power equation, single phase power equation. V1 I naught cos theta naught. V1 I naught cos theta naught. So this is the no load power of the transformer. Now I explain the phasor diagram for the transformer. So we have two coils in a single phase transformer. We have two coils in a transformer. Two coils, primary coil and secondary coil. For practical windings, the two coils having some resistance, and some reactance, Suppose if you take primary circuit, so this is the primary coil of the transformer. This is the primary coil. So generally, transformer is designed with minimum resistance. That means reactance is more as compared to resistance. Reactance is very, very large as compared to resistance in case of transformer. Because if we design it with more resistance, more copper losses, because copper losses is formally I square R. If you design the coil with more resistance, more copper losses means efficiency of the transformer decreases. So to avoid that one, the resistance of the coils are designed with minimum value. So that means reactance is very, very high as compared to resistance in transformer. X is very, very high as compared to resistance in the transformers. Okay. So that means this circuit act as a reactance is very, very large as compared to resistance. If you neglect the small value of resistance, so the circuit act as a pure inductive circuit. If you consider the resistance, it has some part of the inductive, reaction, and it has some part of resistive nature, and some part of resistive nature. So for that purpose, we draw the phasor diagram at no load condition. So that is for practical transformer having reactance and resistance. So the impedance of the circuit is given by impedance equal to AC circuit impedance equal to resistance plus J into reactance. Impedance equal to resistance J into reactance. So this is the impedance of the primary circuit. Impedance of the secondary circuit is also there. Z1 equal to R1 plus JX1, Z2 equal to R2 plus JX2, R1 X1, R2 X2, Z1 Z2, primary and secondary circuits. So first of all, if we draw the phasor diagram at no load condition, So this is the phasor diagram of the transformer at no load condition. So in this we covered the transformer on load, transformer on no load, phasor diagram and approximate to equivalent. So this is the transformer phasor diagram at no load condition. So phasor diagram of the transformer on no load. This is important. No load means secondary is open circuit. No load means secondary is open circuit. No load. So this is no load is connected across this one. No load is connected across this one. Okay. So under no load condition, transformer takes a small amount of current I naught. So this is the I naught. The I naught purpose is to produce the flux and to meet the losses in the transformer. So this is the flux value. That means this magnetizing component of current. This is the magnetizing component of current. So this is the magnetizing component of current. Flux. So this is the total no load current I naught. Core loss component of current IC. Here we have three currents. Total no load current, magnetizing component of current, core loss component of current. So the magnetizing component of current means the purpose of the magnetizing component of current means it produces working flux W, phi value. So that's why the current is in phase with this flux. The current is in phase with this flux. This core loss component purpose is to meet the losses, active component of current. So this is also called active component of current. The purpose of IC is to meet the losses in the transformer. So this is the IC value. This is the IC value. The IC value purpose is to meet the losses in the transformer. So this purpose is to produce the flux value. The total current is the sum of the two currents, I naught value, sum of the two currents, IM and IC, I naught value. Okay. So that is the total current. Total current purpose is I naught, IC plus IM. The total no load current is I naught. That I naught purpose is to produce the magnetizing component of current IM plus IC value. Vector sum of the two currents. Vector sum of the two currents. So this is the I naught equal to IM plus IC. Okay. So this is the resultant current. This is the resultant current I naught. So this is the angle between the I naught and V1 is represented with the theta naught, phase angle. The angle between V1 and I naught is represented with the theta naught. That is the phase angle between the voltage and current. So therefore, the input power under no load condition is given by input power P. That is represented with P naught. So P naught equal to voltage. Voltage is V1, active component of current, and I naught into cos theta naught. Cos theta naught. P naught equal to V1, I naught cos theta naught. So this is the active power taken by the transformer at no load condition. This is the P naught value. So this amount of power is taken by the transformer at no load. No electrical load on secondary. No load means no electrical load on secondary. Next one. These are the induced EMFs in the transformer. E1 and E2 are the induced EMFs in the transformer. So next further one is this coils, primary coil. This primary coil having some resistance and some reactance R1 and X1. So this is inductive nature. So in inductive nature, this current lags the voltage. This voltage by some angle. If it is a pure inductive load, pure inductive load means resistance equal to 0. This current is in lagging the voltage by 90 degrees. If resistance equal to 0, but some resistance is existing in the transformer, right? So that's why this current is lagging behind some value, not 90 degrees. This is not 90 degrees. It is having some value around 75 to 80 degrees. 75 to 80 degrees. If resistance is assumed as 0, this resistance of the primary coil is assumed as 0. This current is in phase with this flux. So this is all about no load phasor diagram of the transformer. Next, the induced EMFs lagging the flux by 90 degrees. I will explain that how the induced EMFs lagging the flux by 90 degrees. E1 and E2 lags the flux by 90 degrees. So when we give alternating voltage to the primary winding, at no load condition, it produces some current, alternating current I naught. The I naught purpose is to produce some flux and to meet the core losses in the transformer. To produce flux, the flux producing component is represented with the IM. So that is also called magnetizing component of current. Second one is the core loss component of current. Core loss component of current, that is represented with the IC. Next, if you apply alternating voltage, that produces alternating current, that current produces alternating flux. So that means this flux is alternating flux. The flux is the alternating flux. According to Faraday's laws, the induced EMF is proportional to d phi by dt. d phi by dt. d phi by dt. This flux is common for both the windings. So the EMF induced in the primary winding is E1. So this is equal to some constant k minus difference in Lenz's law. Induced EMF always opposes cause of its production. K. So this is the k value. K into differentiate this flux. So we apply sinusoidal voltage, sinusoidal current to sinusoidal flux. Sinusoidal flux means phi equal to phi maximum value into sine omega t. Phi equal to phi maximum into sin. If you differentiate this equation 1, suppose this is the equation 1. Phi maximum is common constant. Phi maximum. Sin is differentiate means cos omega t. Sin differentiate means cos omega t into omega. With respect to t, so that's why omega. Sin omega t means minus cos omega t. So I can minus plus of omega. So k phi m cos omega t. So flux is phi m sin omega t, induced EMF is cos omega t. So there exists some phase angle difference between the sin omega and the phase angle difference between the sin omega t and cos omega t is 90 degrees. 90 degrees. So that means this cos is written as some total constants. So this is also new constant k1. This cos omega t is represented with sin omega t minus 90. Sin omega t minus 90. Okay, so the phase angle difference between these two is 90 degrees. So this is sin omega t minus 90. Phi is equal to phi maximum sin omega t. The induced EMF equal to sin omega t minus 90. That means the phase angle difference between the flux and induced EMF is 90 degrees. See, so this is the flux value. So these are the induced EMFs. E1 and E2. See, this is the no load diagram. So this is the flux value. These are the two induced EMFs, E1 and E2. Both are lagging with 90 degrees. So this is the 90 degrees phase angle difference. So E1 and E2. Both are induced EMFs. This is the E1 value. So this is the E2 value. Both are lagging flux by 90 degrees. So this is the applied voltage. Primary voltage is V1. So that means there exists a phase angle difference between the V and E1 and E2. That is equal to phase angle difference equal to 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Here the applied voltage and the E1 and E2 having a phase difference of 180 degrees in transformer. So this is all about the phasor diagram for the transformer under no load condition. Phasor diagram of the transformer into no load condition. Under loaded condition, so load means this is switch is closed. Under no load condition also switch is open. Under no load condition switch is open. Loaded condition is switch is closed. Switch is closed and the load may be different. Resistive load, inductive load, or capacitive load, or RL load. Depending upon this load, phasor diagram of the transformer is drawn. So this is the phasor diagram of the transformer on load condition. The transformer on load. Remember, on load. Before we discuss about no load condition, this is about on load. On load means here we apply some load on the transformer secondary. That is electrical load, not mechanical load. Transformer we apply only electrical load. Initially, the current taken by the transformer at no load condition is different with I0. No load condition. Additional amount of current is taken by the transformer from the primary, depending upon the secondary load component of the current. This is the I2. Secondary current is different with I2. So primary equivalent of secondary. That means this equivalent to this current on primary side is represented with I2 dash. Secondary current is I2. Primary equivalent of secondary is I2 dash. So total primary current is I0 plus I2 dash. Depending upon this load, it may be resistive load, inductive load, or capacitive load, or RL load. Depending upon this load, phasor diagrams are drawn under load condition. So this may be a resistive load, or inductive load, capacitive load, only XC, only resistive, only inductive, only capacitive, or some RL load. RL means having some resistance and reactance. RL means having some resistance and reactance. So these are the phasor diagrams. We drawn phasor diagrams in three cases: inductive load, resistive load, capacitive load, or RL load. Okay. Depending upon the load values, we draw the phasor diagrams of the transformer. See, so this is phasor diagram. Voltage drop is neglected means so. No voltage drops means how I will explain. So no voltage drop. No voltage drop means transformer coils having primary resistance and primary reactances. You know the primary coil having some resistance R1 and the reactance X. Secondary coil having some resistance R2 and the reactance X2. If you neglect the voltage drop means because of this resistance and reactance, we have some impedance on primary Z1, impedance on secondary Z2. Impedance drops is neglected means I1 Z1, I2 Z2. These components are neglected. So that is probably we neglecting the voltage drops on the transformer. So if we neglect the voltage drop, this component is neglected. Impedance is neglected, therefore drops are neglected. Z1 equal to 0, Z2 equal to 0. That is called impedance drop. Voltage drops are neglected. Voltage drops are neglected. Okay. So if voltage drops are neglected in transformer, so this is the total no load current. This current is drawn in last case. No load. This is the no load current of the transformer. This is the no load current I0 value. So that always existing in any type of load, that always existing. So this I0 is constant always from no load to full load, that value is constant. See, this I0 is constant. In addition to I0, so because of this secondary current, because the load is connected, electrical load is connected on this secondary segment, I2 will exist. This is the I2 value. So this is the I2 value. If impedance drops are neglected, E2 equal to V2. This E2 equal to V2. E2 value are equal, both are equal. If impedance drops are neglected, E2 equal to V2. That means this voltage drop is generated EMF in secondary equal to this terminal voltage are generated, because impedance drops is no impedance drop in the coils. So C2 equal to V2. So this is the phasor diagram. This current I2 secondary current. This secondary primary equivalent of secondary current is exactly opposite to this one. So this is the primary equivalent of secondary current. Exactly opposite. So the I2 dash. Total current on the primary means sum of these two current, this one plus this one, total current on the primary. So that is referred with I1. So this is the total current on the primary side. Okay. Here also loss impedance drop on primary side is neglected. So therefore this is the V1. This is the I1 total primary current I1. Total primary voltage V1. Equal number of primary and secondary turns. No voltage drop on the primary. Equal number is assumed on primary and secondary. So this is all about phasor diagram to the transformer at no load and on loaded condition impedance drops are neglected. We have another three phasor diagrams for resistive load, inductive load, and for capacitive load. So that I will explain tomorrow's class, Saturday's class. If you have any doubts, now ask your doubts.